Hello everyone, welcome back to PC Species. Today we are taking a look at these two gentlemen. Now this is an RTX 4060 Ti and this is a 3060 Ti. We are going to compare these cards, but why are we doing that? The point is that this card and this card, these both, they run on PCI Express Gen 4, but there is a difference. This card only has 8 active PCI lanes and this one has all the 16 of them active. So this is an X8 card, this is an X16 card. So what we wanted to find out was that how much difference does it make to install these cards in a 3.0 slot compared to a 4.0 slot, and what difference does the difference in the lane count makes. So I'm going to put a link to our previous video above this. So what we discussed in there was PCI Express. So on the motherboard, what generation is the PCI Express slot? What size is it? Is it X16 size? Is it X8 size? Is it X1 size? Other than that, we also compared the generations. Is it PCI 5.0, 4.0, or 3.0? And there's another crucial difference. So even on a slot that is of X16 size, it is generally mentioned in the manual which card has how many lanes active. So even an X16 size slot can have only 8 lanes active and it would run on X8 speeds. So we discussed all of that, and also on the graphics cards as well, it's the same thing. So it could be PCI Gen 5, Gen 4, Gen 3, and the number of lanes active on the graphics card itself can also differ. So we discussed all of that in detail in a very simple language. So if you want more context on this particular video, and if you want to know more about PCI Express, you can check out that video. Now we are going to start with this one, and we are going to jump into some benchmarks. The first game that we have is Tom Clancy's The Division 2 running at 1080p Ultra. Before that, I'd just let you know that these games were tested on a Ryzen 9 5950X. BIOS was at default, PBO at auto, and the RAM, 16 gigs of RAM running at 3600 MHz XMP profile and on the latest Windows 11. So let us jump right into it. The first card that we're testing is the RTX 3060 Ti, which has all the 16 lanes active. So at 4.0 we got 141 FPS and at 3.0 we got 140. So 1 FPS difference and a percentage difference of 1%. Moving on to the 4060 Ti, which only has 8 active lanes, running at 4.0 we got 149 FPS and at PCI Express 3.0 we got 147. So a FPS difference of 2 and a percentage difference of 1%. Now we move on to Red Dead Redemption 2 1080p max settings, favor quality max settings. So 3060 Ti, a 16 lane card, at 4.0 we got 92 FPS and at 3.0 we got 92. So no difference at all. The 4060 Ti on the other hand, which only has 8 lanes active, at PCI 4.0 it gave us 98 FPS and at PCI 3.0 96 FPS. So an FPS difference of 2 and a percentage difference of 2%. Now we move on to Cyberpunk 2077 1080p, and the preset is Ray Tracing Medium. So 3060 Ti with all its 16 lanes at 4.0 70 FPS and at 3.0 69 FPS. So 1 FPS difference and percentage difference of 1%. The 4060 Ti on the other hand, only 8 lanes active. At 4.0 we got 76 FPS, at 3.0 we got 74. So 2 FPS difference, and in terms of percentages around 3%. So what we infer from this video is that, on Instagram someone asked me a question if they were to buy a new graphics card and they only had a motherboard. Now a lot of people are running B450 boards, so it only has PCI Express 3.0. So a lot of people have a concern that if we upgrade our graphics card, is there going to be a performance difference? A lot of it. So from this we can tell that there is not going to be a lot of difference, especially if you have a graphics card that has all the 16 lanes active. Even if it only has 8 lanes, the performance difference is not going to be massive. It can be 2% to 5%, and that is all the hit that you are going to encounter even on a lower PCI Express generation. So in the previous video we discussed that from going from PCI 4.0 to 3.0 there's a hit in throughput, but if you have all the 16 lanes active, the impact is not as profound. But even then, even in the case of X8 cards, on PCI 3.0, the difference is not a lot. So if you are on an older chipset, if you are on an older processor which supports only PCI 3.0, you can get these cards easily without worrying about a performance hit. Now, cards above this series, so a 4070 Super or a 4070 Ti Super or a 4080 Super and the new 5000 series, the performance hit may be slightly more, but for cards of these class, cards of this class, the 60 class, you do not need to worry about it too much. Now, there's another interesting thing that we did. So if you take a look, with the 3060 Ti, we got 70 FPS, and with the 4060 Ti, we got 76. So I did some tweaking around with the 3060 Ti, some settings. I changed some settings and applied a mild overclock, and we were easily able to match or surpass the 4060 Ti. But that is something I'll teach you in the next video, how to update the VBIOS to enable resizable bar, then how to apply the mild overclock that I'm talking about, so that you can get 4060 Ti level of performance on your 3060 Ti if you're still running that card. And those settings will be applicable for higher cards as well. Not the OC settings, but the general idea of it. But that is for the next video. This is it for this one. So if you like the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel because it helps us a lot. And we'll see you in the next one.